Cool, everyone. We're actually chilling with the Alex J at the moment, and I had to snag him for a minute or two because we have this special offer that's going out, and we just want to be able to educate the public on why is like eBay automation like such a unique high return opportunity at the moment compared to Amazon automation.
Well, there's a lot of people that are doing Amazon automation services, stores, and there's a lot of different marketers all selling different softwares to sell on Amazon. And because of that, the competition there is crazy. And because, like, they're all competing against each other, they're all eating each other's profits. You've got people doing black hat stuff over there, which are things that they shouldn't be doing. So the marketplace on Amazon has just been getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And there's loads of other things as well. For example, like Amazon competes with them. There's actually a lawsuit going on right now, but Amazon compete with third-party sellers, the people that are trying to sell on the platform, and they're being killed out by Amazon itself. Whereas eBay has been kind of going on its own. It's continued to grow. It's still a huge marketplace, but where there's so much focus on Amazon, where we're using that to our advantage by going the other way. So when everyone zigs, we're zagging. So we're over on eBay.
Got it. Awesome. What else did you want to share about eBay and why it's better? Just like, why is it like cheaper? Why does the return come faster than Amazon?
Well, the fees are less. So the PayPal, because PayPal and eBay fees, they're 2 and 2. But when you put them together, they're still cheaper than the Amazon fees. The Amazon fees are actually more expensive. It's less competitive, so we can do better profit margins, and we're able to. So when you're selling on Amazon, one of the big key things is a thing called buy box, which is if you're the cheapest on Amazon and you can hold that position and you've got really good feedback and you've proven yourself for months and months and months, it normally takes like 6 months before you can first get buy box. But buy box is when you go onto the website, when you search something, and then there's that buy it now. When you press that, it purchase it from your store. That's what most people are trying to get, because once you get that, your sales go crazy. But it takes like 6 months before you're even eligible, and then once you're eligible, you have to maintain all these different stats in order to get it, including being the cheapest, which isn't great for profit margins. Whereas on eBay, we don't have that issue. We don't have to do that. We don't have to be eligible for 6 months in order to do it. Like, if you're the cheapest, people are just going to buy it. We don't have to try and compete for that, privilege, so to speak. So it's a lot easier to sell on eBay as a comparison to Amazon, and it is cheaper because, again, the fees are a lot better, and we can do better profit margins.
Yeah, and you would say like the cool thing about eBay, like it's the opportunity really is that you can open up multiple stores much easier because there's like the float pays back daily, right? Do you mind going into that?
Yeah. So when the way that the payment system works, that Amazon pays every 2 weeks. Okay, so let's say I did 100,000 in sales in 1 month. Let's say 50,000 in 2 weeks. Obviously, 30 days split in half, right? So let's say in 2 weeks I've done 50,000 worth of sales. Let's say that the profit margin of that is 10%. Okay, so that would mean 5,000 is profit. It means I'm floating 45,000. Okay, so I put 40,000 up in order to make 5. Okay, because we're drop shipping, right? So if on Amazon, that means that 45,000 is just on Amazon for 2 weeks, and I've got to wait for it to come back to me. So that money goes out. I have to wait 14 days or 15 days for that money to then come back to me.
And that's just to make like $10,000.
That's not even to make 10. That's only to make 5.
That's to make 5. So you have to have 40. You have to have 40.
45. It'd be 45,000.
45,000 just to profit 5,000 a month, and obviously that's an awesome profit. And when you compare that to traditional investment opportunities, it's like, it's apples to oranges.
It's still a great profit margin, but there's a few problems with that. So, like, one is that you need high liquidity because you need to be able to float that kind of money. And then the second part is, if Amazon decides to suspend your account, they can take that 45. and that's it. It's gone. Well, they'd take the 50, so they'd take your profit with it. So they'd just take 50, so it's gone, and you're never going to see it again. And I can promise you, you'll be fighting forever to try and get that back. But with eBay, it's slightly different because when a buyer pays, they pay directly to your PayPal. Now, the first few sales, like the first 4 sales, they'll hold the money for up to 21 days, unless you can put a tracking code on there, and then they release it earlier. But it's usually still about 14 days. But after the first initial 4 sales, after that, the money is for immediate release. And what that means is that the money comes in, and then you can withdraw that. So you can just press withdraw. The money goes directly to your bank, and then you can use that to purchase products. So you're not really floating money. You're able to withdraw the money a lot quicker. So let's say that let's say in one day you'd done $1,000 worth of sales. Now normally you'd have put 1,000 out, and then from that 1,000 you'd have made 100. Okay. That's fine, but it means that you're able to float a lot easier compared to having to try and float 45 to only make 5. Do you see what I mean? Because you're not having to have that money out there in nowhere for 14 days. You're able to withdraw it same day, same hour if you really wanted to. I mean, I wouldn't advise withdrawing that often, but you could if you wanted to. Awesome,
and I really appreciate that explanation, because you actually answered two questions in one. Because the other question that we often run into is, hey Alex, if you're so good at doing these stores, why don't you just make them all for yourself? And the obvious answer is, if you're managing 43 stores and times 45,000 every 2 weeks, that would be like, millions of dollars that you just can't touch, which would be very foolish for you to you just actually wouldn't be like you wouldn't be capable of actually doing that, and which essentially would be like capping your business, your income. Like literally, there's literally be a ceiling over your income, and therefore by using other people's credit and creating a situation where you're paid on performance at 30%, it actually is a situation where everyone wins.
Correct, and the other part of it as well is like, so with eBay, so the limits on eBay are very different. So you've got, so Amazon is a little bit different in the fact that they don't really set a limit for you, but eBay does have limits. So with eBay, you do have to ring, and we've got a script that we give the clients, but you basically have to ring and then get your limit increased. So your first limit, it's really random, but the first limit might be $100 or $1,000. It's really random. But then all you do is you just telephone them, just follow the script that we have, and then they'll increase the limit, and then you ring them again and increase the limit. So we normally ring them every 2 weeks, and you only need to be on the phone for like 10 minutes, like really only need to be on the phone for like 10, 15 minutes. And you just answer some questions, and then they increase the limit. Now you can normally, in a couple, let's say 2-3 months, you can normally have that limit set at like 100,000, which means that you're able to then produce 100,000 a month as the limit. So you're not going to have to worry about like, oh, I want to make more money and I can't. Like, you'll give it a couple months and you'll be able to do 100,000 a month, which won't happen from day one anyway, because we still have to build the account, we still have to get the reviews and everything else. So Amazon, they don't do that. You don't have that limit thing, but you have the problem where they're not really promoting your stuff until you get buy box, or if you've got like a really old seller's account that's already proven itself. But that's the one of the other differences between the two, is that eBay do have limits on the amount that you can make, but you can increase those limits really, really easily. Like one telephone call, and we give you the script, one telephone call, they'll increase the limit without any problems.
Awesome, and we have instructions obviously on how to manage this automated business and really maximize the investment. Yeah, that's really awesome. Honestly, I just have like a couple more questions. We're about to wrap it up. Alex, how long have you been, in the industry, man? If you don't mind me sharing, and like how many clients do you have, and what have they seen? Just on the skinny. Yeah.
Sorry, on the what?
On the skinny, this means like quick, just like, hey, like how long I've been,
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing this for years. E-commerce is nothing new. Like, it's been going on for a really, really long time. And we've been doing it for a really, really long time. And like since then, we've grown it and grown it and grown it to the point that we've now got this 3-story building that we're working out of now.
Yeah, how many employees do you have at the moment?
It's over 26.
26 every single day working on these stores.
Every single day, yeah. And it's not overly complicated what we're doing, like, but what we're doing is all the hard work for everyone else, because we already know how to find the products, we already know how to list the products, we already know how to ship them out, we already know what to say to the customers, we already know how to reply, we already know how to get feedback, we already know how to get reviews. Like, we know how to do absolutely everything. So it just saves that whole learning curve of where people are trying and making mistakes on their own.
I got another quick thing is real estate versus Amazon automation as an investment opportunity. Why should a real estate investor have an automated store?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, why should a real estate investor have at least one store? Like, he'd be a fool not to. He's just uneducated if he doesn't have one.
Well, the amount that you can produce from an eBay store, firstly, is great. Like, in comparison to the amount that you're putting in, you're pulling out a lot faster.
But before you go into this, in full disclosure, you still actively purchase property. Actively,
yeah. I mean, I just got another apartment. I think it was like last week, or when did I get it? What day is it today? It was wait, was it? Yeah, it was last Monday.
Okay,
it's Monday today.
So why should someone who buys property also have like at least one of these stores? Like,
yes, I mean, the amount that you can bring in from these, you can buy more apartments, or I mean, I don't do houses. I don't flip. I buy and I hold, and then we rent them out to other people. Okay, that's what I do with the properties. But the amount that you can make from eBay is significant. So you can bring that money in, and then you can put that into properties. So you can either put it as a down payment or as a full payment, just dependent on which way you're doing it.
And then also, obviously, like the cool thing is like because if you're using a business line of credit for the store, you just can extend your credit limit because you're just creating like consistent payment history.
Well, yeah, obviously that's another thing that you can do. I mean, I didn't have to do that, obviously, but I mean that is something that you can do. But yeah, like the main
thing you use like a business card, like for example, like my mom, like she's got like a credit limit of 15,000, but if she starts doing this store and she's doing like whatever crazy numbers and paying back again and again and again, like the banks would be like, hey, like, do you want 50,000, 100,000? Like, if you just keep paying it back, the bank will give you more money, and then you can use that credit to buy more property. Is what I was trying to get.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can do that for sure. Like that's without a question, you can definitely do that.
So, and then finally, the question everyone wants to hear. So yeah, you said we have like. It's like somewhere between 36 to 43 people that have made an investment of like 25,000, and they're seeing a return somewhere between 3 to 10,000 a month, 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, it doesn't take all that long.
And then what are they expecting between that, like what we've already offered and proven with Amazon, and like what do people should be looking at with the eBay on this return?
Yeah, so the return's the same. So it takes 6 to 9 months to build up to 100,000 a month. I mean, yeah, let's just keep it there. It can take 6 to 9 months, but the cool thing is the way that we're able to do it, especially because of the time, because obviously we're filming this in August. So by December, the accounts are in a fantastic position to be crushing it because they're going to be getting in on the Christmas sales. But, after that period, obviously, it'll be exactly the same. Now, obviously, we do evergreen, which means these products sell all year round anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it's Christmas or not. But obviously, during the seasonal period, sales do dramatically
increase. We realistically expect, obviously we're taping it in August, for people to see a return on their money in 3 months, 3 or 4 months. Obviously, this is the beta video, which is obviously only up for a very limited time.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to say, because I didn't. Okay, if this is just that offer,
this is for the eBay offer. This short.
Okay, if this is just that offer, then yeah, it really doesn't take long to make a return. Like it can take like 3 to 4 months. It could be longer, it could be shorter, but
based upon how we have it currently priced, then yeah, it's around.
Yeah, because the current price is so low right now.
Exactly.
That, yeah, we could do it in like 3 to 4 months. Again, it could be longer, it could be shorter, dependent on factors, but it should be fairly quick.
And that's about it, man. That's really all I wanted to ask.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are a few other things as well. I mean, like, one thing that's, that's really cool about eBay is the fact that so many people are now solely focused on Amazon that a lot of people, they use eBay as a supplier for dropshipping, which means they end up buying from us. So we have people that are selling on Amazon actually buying from us as a supplier. So whenever they're selling stuff on Amazon, they're actually buying it from us,
Exactly.
which is fantastic. And obviously we're making a ton of money on it as well.
And these clients can just position themselves in by following market trends and taking action at the right time. Is that what you're saying, Alex?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, we're letting them fight over there because they're competing on their prices, they're eating each other, but we're not really having that problem. Like every single person here, like your store, the products that we put in your store are only used in your store. We don't use them on other client stores.
But you still happily take your, the income from your successful Amazon stores to this day, right?
Sorry, say that again.
You happily enjoy the income that your successful Amazon stores are still producing, though.
Yeah, no, for sure, and they're fantastic. One of the other things I'd say as well is the fact that it's just because from the two, I now have a preference. Like I definitely have a preference between the two. It's just purely because the way that Amazon's been going, like they compete with themselves for one, which is something that I don't like at all that they do. And then the other thing is it's less risky. So Amazon are so strict on what you can and can't list, and like there's so many regulations, and you can get suspended if you sneeze. So we have to be really, really careful when we're putting stuff on Amazon. However, with eBay, we don't really have that problem at all. Like you should have seen the girls when they were like, "Oh, what are all the restrictions?" Like they were waiting for a big fat list of restrictions, and there isn't one. the restriction list is so small, and it's very difficult to get suspended on eBay in comparison to Amazon. Like so many people get suspended because there's at one point there was. I mean, this is kind of slowing down, but man, there was like a really rough patch for like 3-4 months where people were getting these people were doing really dirty marketing where they were basically copyright claiming all these products, saying, "Oh, that's out." They were using these fake copyright claims, but every time they just put it in, Amazon didn't even check it. The second they sent that fake paperwork in, the account got shut down, and they were doing it to everyone. Like we were just watching people just go, dang, 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 dang. But we don't, like eBay don't do that. Like eBay, you don't have that problem. And the cool thing is that if you have a problem with eBay, you can ring them and speak to a human being, and that department talk to you. With Amazon, you email them, they take 48 hours to reply, and it's usually a script. But with eBay, you can ring them, and they'll be like, "Oh, you need to talk to this department," and then you're talking to them on the phone, and you can solve the problem there and then. So you don't have that same headache.
That's. I feel like that's the most important thing is just knowing that like the investment is safe. Other than that, man, do you mind if we could say hi to some of the girls before we go?
Yeah, I can. They're not all here, but I can just lunchtime. But let me
just to show the people where they're going. Say hello. Hi. So that's just one of the 3 floors, and yeah, guys, like if you wanna contact Alex J, where should they find you, Alex?
I mean, you can find me on Instagram, AlexJ020. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/TheTrueAlexJ. And if you want to, just stick to those two. Stick to those two. I don't want to get bombarded. Just stick to those two.
Stick to those two, but for the most part, if they want to get started with one of these stores, they should just schedule a consultation. We'll take it from there.
Yeah, if there's any questions that you have, obviously you can reach out and ask Ryan. Ryan, I'll answer all the questions for you. And then, yeah, obviously, the second you're ready to get started, we'll get things moving for you. We normally get accounts started within 24 hours, unless if you pay too late on a Friday, it'll be on the Monday. Same as Saturday, Sunday, it'll go through to the following Monday. But if it's Monday to Thursday, it's 24 hours.
Perfect. Awesome, Alex. Really do appreciate your time. Looking forward to seeing the success of all these people, man. Take care, all the best.
Awesome. All right, see you.
Cheers. Peace.